All right, so I have been using the iPhone Air for over the past 2 weeks now, and there's a couple of things that I really want to talk about. Primarily, two of the things that a lot of people have been sort of discussing, and that is the battery and the camera. And I want to talk to you guys a little more in depth of whether or not it's worth it, how it's been for me personally, and just give you guys my overall experience, how it's been these past 2 weeks. So the first thing I want to touch on is the battery. So roughly in the past 2 weeks, I was averaging around 5.5 to 6.5 hours of screen on time, with one day that I got around 7 hours of screen on time. That was a single day, so I wasn't able to replicate it. But for the most part, 5.5 hours to 6.5 hours of screen on time was what I was averaging these past 2 weeks. That being said, I normally unplug around 4 in the morning, and then around 4 p.m. I'd have to plug it back in. Now, for the average person, that's going to be more than enough. 6.5 hours of screen on time for just the average task, right? Texting, emailing, phone calls, using the camera, recording video. I think that the iPhone Air is going to be more than enough. If you use your device for heavier intensive tasks, like even gaming for longer periods of time, then yeah, you're definitely going to complain about the battery on the iPhone Air. Also, to bring that up is that I have been raw dogging it. I didn't buy the MagSafe battery pack that Apple sort of exclusively made for the iPhone Air. I didn't pick that up, so I've just been using it as is. And like I said, it's been averaging around 5.5 to 6.5 hours of screen on time, which again, for most people, should be more than enough. Now, to piggyback off that, let's talk about the performance. The A19 Pro chip, one of the pro features that ended up trickling down over to the iPhone Air. The A19 Pro chip on here, I think, was made more for efficiency and not necessarily the performance aspect of it, right? One of the biggest things that I've actually heard from a lot of other reviewers has been that the phone throttles slightly. I personally have not experienced it, but I also haven't been pushing it, I would say, with heavy intensive tasks. The biggest thing that I normally do with it is just doing recording video or taking pictures. I would game on it occasionally, but not for long periods of time. The A19 Pro chip for day-to-day tasks is going to get you basically buttery smooth performance the entire time. I don't think there's anything to complain about here. Again, I have heard from other reviewers that it does tend to slow down a bit. I personally haven't seen anything. There is one thing I want to sort of mention, and that is that with the OS, with iOS 26, I did see a bug with the camera. And this was when I initially unboxed the device and I was sort of using it. I was testing out the center stage camera, and for whatever reason, anytime I would turn it on and off, it sort of bugged out and I couldn't access the camera. I was able to replicate it a few times. Ever since then, though, it's been absolutely fine. So I'm not sure if it was just the system sort of adapting. I have no idea, but I also have not updated my device since, so I'm not sure why, but it has since sort of fixed itself. But let's move on over to the camera, that being the one single 48 megapixel fusion camera, what Apple calls it, right? Just a marketing term. Essentially what it is, it's you're getting the sharpness of the 48 megapixel back end, and then you're getting the 12 megapixel, low light capabilities, and it's just fusing it together to get you some pretty decent images. And I can absolutely say that the images that come out of this guy are beautiful and they're consistent, which is one of the biggest things, at least for me. That being said, it does not shoot in any sort of raw format. There are apps, third-party apps that you could probably use for that, but natively it does not do that. So one of the things that I would normally do to help with that is just shoot with the styles. I personally use rose gold. I think it does really well with giving you that little sort of reddish tint with the skin tones. It looks great. But moving on to the center stage camera, one of the biggest upgrades and what a lot of people are actually talking about, right? So with center stage, sorry, we get a square sensor. It is a 24 megapixel square sensor, but then it's cropped into 18 megapixels via either horizontal or vertical. And basically, Apple did this thing where you can be holding your phone horizontally, you bring other people in, and it automatically will adjust itself to fit everyone in. That is amazing. It is a great feature. A lot of people are talking about it. The biggest upgrade, it being 18 megapixels, of course, gives you sharper images. Now, personally, I'm not a big selfie taker whatsoever. Not a big aficionado of that, but I can confirm that the pictures that come out of the front facing camera are actually pretty stunning. But then sort of touching back on the rear camera and the pictures that this is able to produce, those pictures are pretty consistent, right? So Apple, again, does really well with their Fusion camera system here with the one sensor. Now it is going to be shooting at either 26, 28, 35, and then they call it a telephoto lens. It's not, it's just cropped in via 2x, and that gives you a equivalent of a 52 millimeter focal length. Now again, the pictures that come out of this guy are honestly really, really good. These shadows are super clean, highlights aren't blown out. I think it does really well just producing a pretty consistent and just well balanced image. All right, and then another big sort of issue that I've heard, right? And it might not be for some, it is for a few, obviously, but the single speaker on, or the single mono speaker on the iPhone Air. For the most part, when you initially pick it up, if you haven't done so already, yeah, it's a bit timid. It's not the best, it's not bass heavy. And if you are coming again from any other device that has that stereo sound, you are going to notice it right away, especially when viewing something in landscape. You're just going to notice that it's coming out of just one end, and that feels a bit odd sometimes. You do get used to it, but if you are someone that is just scrolling through Instagram and whatnot, you're just getting that one mono speaker, it's going to be completely fine. In most situations, in most environments, I think it is more than enough. There has been situations where I've sort of been on speakerphone and yeah, you can't hear the other person, so I'm having to take it off speaker and then just hold it up to my head. That, and then just listening to music, depending on where you are. Obviously, I'm here in the studio, I'm by myself. It's not that quiet. I'm sorry, it is quiet. And so just having it, using it for Spotify and listening to music, it's completely fine. So just depending on the environment you're in, you're obviously gonna notice it a little more than other times. So again, the biggest wow factor to this is the design and just how thin it is. And I personally have not gotten tired of it just picking this guy up. I have been using it caseless, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. Like just picking it up consistently and just sort of admiring it. I would definitely recommend putting a case on this guy if you are sort of clumsy. If you aren't, you just want to rock it like this, I think this is definitely the way to go. And besides that, the other thing is that it feels really well balanced. I think Apple did really well with just how they sort of integrated both the titanium and the glass on here. It's not sharp at all. It feels really nice, and it's actually really well balanced, even though a lot of the components live up here. It doesn't feel like it's top heavy or bottom heavy whatsoever, so that's great. But besides that, we've seen stress tests, we've seen Jerry Rig sort of extensively stress tested, and it's held up quite nicely. So having something this thin and that durable is honestly amazing. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. In conclusion, I definitely would not recommend this to someone that is a power user, someone that just wants to get into content creation. The 17 Pros, I think, would be the better option for them. You know, them having the triple camera system, they having the log capabilities and whatnot, and even the standard iPhone 17 is just having the dual camera system, 3000 nits of peak brightness, the ProMotion, that might be a little more enticing for them as well. But for the most part, this device might just be for someone that wants something that looks insanely thin. It feels great and isn't a power user for the most part, right? Or beyond that is that, you know, they don't mind having that MagSafe battery pack. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Did you guys pick a iPhone Air up and then decide to return it? Are you guys still rocking one? If so, with or without a case, let me know what you guys think. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you guys on the next one. Later.